Hey, I'm George. Nice to meet you. But wait, I am George. Say what? I mean, you look even the same as me, but that can't be. But you have even said that we are quite similar to each other, and there have to be differences somewhere. I'm certain that there's one point between us, because many people claim that this is the most unusual part of me, because I'm very spiritual. Well, I admit I'm not spiritually engaged at all, so this point goes clearly to you. But when we even look the same, what then is the difference between us? Yeah, that is a good question indeed. Indeed, a good question. So what is the difference between spirituality and non-spirituality? And exactly that will be elaborated today. But before we do that, at first we have to find some sort of definition or description for both cases. And further, of course, I just could have taken my old comparison between my present and my past. But on the other side, I just wanted it to be more concrete in general. So we'll go with that. When you are spiritual, you are not only praying to some sort of angels or to a god, at least not in the beginning, because it all starts with a certain mindset. And when you're awaking, you will slowly, step by step, get to that state. Also, when you're waking up, you will be working on your past, but that is nothing new. The point is, though, you will gain knowledge from those experiences in the past, and for the first time, you will look at them not anymore as unfair struggle, like why did it happen to me? But instead, in a spiritual state, you will see it as catalyst for growth, and further you will be able to use it in a practical way. And practical knowledge is wisdom. So as a result, you will be able to evaluate things and situations more wisely, but first and foremost, from a point of view which is not at all influenced by others. And when you're far enough in this process, so to speak, when you've equalized all your physical issues, then you will likely tend to the supernatural. Because as a spiritual being, you always want to know more. You always want to know more about yourself, those people around you. You always want to know more about the reason of being here, your purpose in life. But you always want to know more about life itself. Now, since you have conquered all those problems on level Earth, you're finally ready to explore the higher levels of life. And as you do that, you will get to know that there is way more to life than you initially thought. When you consciously reaching out to those higher planes, you will automatically invite them into your life. And as you do that, you will get to know what true miracles are. The first miracle you're about to witness, for example, is the certainty that those supposedly separated worlds or dimensions between us humans and those beings up there are not separated at all, because they're always interacting with one another on some level. Only thoughts and principles can separate us from each other. Here, in this dimension, for example, we have something that is called free will. And according to that, we can simply think the thoughts we want to think, speak the words we want to speak, and also believe the things we want to believe, no matter if they're true or false. But by doing that, there is the chance that we simply block out or block this connection, this channel between us and those higher planes. And exactly that is the reason for so many unfulfilled dreams and prayers. Because some may have an unconscious mindset that unfortunately acts as some sort of inhibitor for those interdimensional connections, for those exchanges of information really. Because a communication is nothing different than some exchange of energy between beings. You could compare it with trying to make a conversation with somebody while wearing headphones with extremely loud music. So you're still able to speak, and your counterpart on their behalf is able to hear you and also is able to respond to you. But you are not really able to understand their response, and exactly that is the problem. So those metaphorical headphones are just blocking the whole communication. And in that awakening process, those metaphorical headphones are being peeled away from you, from your ears, in order to enable once more a proper communication between yourself and those higher planes up there. But please don't misunderstand that. It won't be the case that some sort of angel will appear in front of you and just solving all your problems in one strike. I mean, to some extent it could happen, as during this process the term impossible itself becomes a lie. But rather it is the purpose for you to find out through which channel the universe or those higher beings are communicating with you. So is it an audible way? Is it a written way? Or is it even a visual way? And exactly that is the purpose for you to figure out in the end. Now, having said that, there's also this other side, which is quite of a non-spiritual side. I intentionally avoided the term normal, because that would imply that spirituality is something unnormal or something strange, and therefore it would just distort its appearance in the end. So, when you grow up as a children, you have this childish simple mind, which is basically open for anything. You may have heard of those reports of parents claiming their children had seen something they couldn't see themselves. Of course, remind yourself what I told you about evaluating those reports. I mean, just be your own judge, right? But however, under the premises this is real, or even some of those reports are true, that would imply that children, small children, are able to reach out and to communicate with the supernatural. Admittedly, this is only possible during their first years, because when they grow up further, their mind is adjusting more and more to the physical. Additionally, they're being shown they have to fit in society's expectations, and further, that they have to follow others' instructions. And as a consequence of all that, they will establish a foundation of wish and desire, which is sadly oftentimes contradictory to their true aspirations and wishes. So when they reach adulthood, they're likely to be forced in some way to get a job. And when they get a job finally, it is like a death sentence for their personal evolution. Because from now on, they have no time anymore except for waking up in the morning, going to work, returning in the late afternoon, in the evening eating something, and watching TV for the rest of the day. And this cycle is being repeated by them until they're old. So regarding their personal evolution, they have reached their peak or their maximum potential at the age of 21 to 24, basically the age at which they get a job. And sadly, this is the main ingredients of a non-spiritual life. Of course, there's some people out there that are very happy with their job and are really enjoying them. But I think I don't need to mention that this is clearly the minority. Now, I don't want to be a missionary for spirituality at all. as it is rather both sides, spirituality and the physical, that unites into perfection after all. But the problem we have to face nowadays is that most people are just wasting their lives by running in circles. Either they don't know what they want, or they're just too shy or too frightened to act on that. So they're, in a sense, they're just throwing away what life really could be for them. And therefore, long term, it wouldn't make any difference if they died at the age of 24 or at the age of 97. Of course, those are rough words, but this is the sad reality. Sometimes we have to look from above in order to see what things really are. So spirituality basically is a catalyst, a motivation for going further than you have ever before, for reaching higher than you have before, and for knowing more than you've ever known before. It is like an advanced evolutionary step, both for individual and for the collective, in order for both to reach way closer to true reality than ever thought possible. So before humanity in a collective sense is really able to go to the next evolutionary step, we have to act as some sort of ignition that brings this process forth. When enough individuals reach this certain mindset, it will be like a huge wave, a huge chain reaction that is so unstoppable that nothing is able to stop that. And as a result, change is just inevitable. So now ask yourself, in a new altered world, what could be different, what could be better, and what could be worse? And then decide on which way to go. Now this is basically all I wanted to say for now. And once again, I thank you for watching, and I also give thanks to George and George. I don't know where they are, but for sure they have contributed something to this video, because on their behalves they have just, well, they have created a lovely little intro. So however, my friends, I thank you for watching, and I see you in the next video. Until next time.